Donald Trump is set to unveil his tax plan. This is the latest train wreck in the ongoing gong show of disasters. It's going to propose cutting corporate taxes on the foreign profits of American companies. Trump said, oh, it's all about helping American workers. My campaign is going to be great for American workers. We're going to bring back the working class. How do you help American workers if you make it so that it's more profitable for U.S. corporations to make money in other countries by reducing the taxes that they would have to pay? In addition to that, Donald Trump plans to slash the top tax rate on so-called pass-through business income from 39.6% to 15%. Oh, so this is actually something that impacts me as an individual. I think it's terrible policy. This would save me money on my taxes every year, but I think it's terrible policy. Pass-through business income is taxed on a business owner's tax return at their individual income tax rate, okay? So for example, the David Pakman Show is part of what's called an S corporation, right? And by virtue of having under some threshold of shareholders, I think it's 20 or 25, the business itself doesn't really pay taxes. So at the end of the year, our accountant comes to me and says, David, the David Pakman Show as a business owes some minimum tax. It's usually $600 or something like that. The income that the business generates passes through to the shareholders, right? So I, at the end of the year, get something called a K-1 form, which says, here's my distribution as an owner of the David Pakman Show. And when I do my personal taxes, I punch that in and I pay taxes, income tax on that based on my personal income tax rate, okay? So you might hear this and say, well, David, that sounds really good. It's going to help so many people because small business owners will now be able to pay only 15% on pass-through business income rather than maybe 25 or the 28% or even more if they make more income that they would pay on that pass-through income. But here's the trickery. It overwhelmingly, disproportionately helps the super rich. Once you earn more than $37,950 for the year, you're in the 25% income tax bracket, right? Once you get to $91,900 for the year in income, you're in the 28% tax bracket. So you can look at it and say, wow, that's great. Donald Trump is going to make it so that all business owners who make as little as $37,950 are going to get a tax cut. And that's true. But in terms of the dollar amount, the tax cut that your business owner making $40,000 is going to get is tiny in comparison to what the individuals at the 39.6% tax bracket, sometimes making millions upon millions of dollars per year, are going to get. In fact, an analysis has already been done. The tax break on pass-through income that Donald Trump is going to propose will disproportionately benefit the wealthiest 3% of business owners and business partners, not to mention that the people more likely to earn pass-through income are already more likely to be wealthier anyway. So your average small business sole proprietorship is pass-through income already in the sense that there's no business entity, right? You have a plumber who just is, you know, Joe Plumber sole proprietorship. They're completely unaffected by this in that they will continue to pay income tax at their prevailing income tax rate. So how is this all going to be paid for, by the way? Because we know that these tax cuts disproportionately for the rich increase the budget deficit. Well, the Tax Policy Center's analysis says that this plan would cause a loss of $2.4 trillion in government revenue over 10 years. And there is no indication that enough loopholes are closed or that you are cutting enough to make this balance out. And it is, you know, we're hearing from the Treasury Secretary, Steven Mnuchin, that this is going to pay for itself. Until we see evidence of that, don't believe it for a second, because these tax cuts for the rich rarely, if ever, pay for themselves. And this is yet another. Trump will benefit from this. His buddies will benefit from this. And some small business owners, true small business owners, will slightly benefit from it. But this is not the boon to the average worker that Donald Trump promised. Send me your thoughts on this, okay? I'm on Twitter at @dpakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. I know people have been waiting for me to comment on this, and my comments are, this is the exact opposite of what Trump promised. It is the exact thing we assumed Trump would do with the tax code at his earliest possible opportunity. I'm excited to tell you that today's episode of the show is made possible by a great new advertiser that we have, Tagadab, the hosting specialist. They offer a range of affordable, flexible hosting packages, including dedicated VPS and cloud server options, as well as having the ability to put together custom server solutions for you, your business, your project. They have 70% of their business coming from repeat orders and recommendations, and their Trustpilot review rating is excellent at 9.7 out of 10. With more and more people interested in moving their businesses or their projects to the cloud, Tagadab is currently offering new customers a £10 sign-up credit, which gives you the opportunity to try the service. They are based in the UK. You can be based anywhere in the world. To take advantage of this offer, you can simply go to signup.tagadab.com/TDPS. That's signup.tagadab.com/TDPS. Support our new sponsor and support the David Pakman Show.